one Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, the real lifetime example, or I would say live example, who is not preaching anything, but he's practicing and he is living whatever he talks about. And he's just going to give us a kind of an eye-opening experience on how much and how best we from CSAR family can do some justice in terms of changing a small amount of our lifestyle activities, by means of which we will be able to do a greater justice to the Mother Earth in terms of saving energy. So Dr. Solanki is a new friend of mine, especially. He's not a new friend to CSAR, but he's a new friend of mine. And I really recall the recent interaction where we had in our G20 interaction meet, wherein Solanki, through his lecture, not only impressed upon only the Indians, but also all the 20 plus other countries also. And everyone was totally impressed upon by the way the talk was given, by the way the explanation was given, by the way Solanki is leading his life. And towards the end of it, I should make a mention that Dr. V.K. Saraswat, the member from Niti Aayog, he gave a standing ovation to Professor Solanki's talk, which I have witnessed during the G20 talk. So today he is with us and he is going to give us his ideas, suggestions, best practices and other things. Friends, I will just share one or two points. We are all here, we are born to live. We have to live happily. We have to live as on date only on Earth, because living in Mars, I think it will take a little more time. So we have to live only on Earth and we have to live happily. So therefore, we are now left with only one option, that is we have only one Earth. That's why knowingly the Prime Minister of this country, he is coming up with a kind of a mantra, which is one Earth, one family and one future. So whether we like it or not, we have only one Earth. And whether we like it or not, we all can have only one future. And therefore, we are left with no other option rather than living as one family. So when this concept is getting, I would say, importance at the current lifestyle pattern, it is very, very relevant and important to listen to such a kind of a lecture from Chetan Singh Solanki. I'm extremely happy to introduce my CSAR family, the great legendary Professor Chetan Singh Solanki.
Thank you so much.
I extend a very, very warm welcome to you. And on behalf of entire CSAR, I'm welcoming you. And on behalf of CSAR, now I wish to tell you that we will listen to you and we will definitely start implementing to the maximum possible extent from we, the responsible CSAR employees. Friends, I'll take another couple of minutes to introduce all of you who this great gentleman who is sitting so simply and humbly along with me. So Professor Chetan Singh Solanki is an educator, researcher, innovator, and happiness program teacher of art of living, who is currently on unpaid leave from IIT Bombay. I think CSR family should take a big lesson. So somebody is really volunteering his service, even without even getting any kind of a payment or salary from his organization. So friends, I will take another half a minute here. There are 4 types of people. Somebody will suggest and will live according to that. Somebody will suggest and will not live according to that. Somebody will not suggest but will live very, very perfectly. And the 4th category is they will not suggest, they will not also live. Of the 4 category, I rank and a grade Professor Chetan Singh Solanki to the 1st category. He shares and he lives. Had he not shared his views in the past, and if he is not willing to share his ideas even now, I think there also he is doing injustice, because he is having all positive and all very good practices. And therefore, I'm extremely happy that you have come forward to share your views. And he is now, he has undertaken Energy Swaraj Yatra from November 2020 through a solar bus for 11 years until 2030. Meaning is his house is nothing but a solar bus. He's not owning any flat. He is not worried about whether it is an individual house or a flat or an apartment or how many square feet or what are the comforts. No, but his bus is everything is inbuilt. So in this yatra, Professor Solanki has pledged not to go home until 11 years and stay in the solar yatra bus. In the wake of serious and catastrophic climate change, this Energy Swaraj Yatra is designed with the purpose to create a public movement towards adoption of 100% solar energy. So he is the right person, and he is the person who is fully qualified to create this kind of an awareness and a public movement, because he is living according to that. He has been honored with the Brand Ambassador of Solar Energy of Madhya Pradesh government. He has been referred to as a Solar Man of India by Times of India, the Hindustan India Today. Some people also call him as Solar Gandhi. I really adore this terminology. Following Gandhian ideals, he has coined the word Energy Swaraj, and to establish Energy Swaraj globally, he has founded the Energy Swaraj Foundation, ESF. Professor Solanki has led major solar projects at IIT Bombay. Through his SOLS project, he has reached 7.5 million families, providing them clean light. There are several awards to his credit. These awards include IEEE's Global Grand Prize of US $1 million, Prime Minister's Innovation Award for SOLS project, first prize in the Solar Chula Design Challenge by ONGC, 3 Guinness World Record, 2 Young Scientist Awards, CSR Science and Technology Award, top 15 must follow thought leaders by LinkedIn. I think again, it's very impressive. Hero of the Environment by Network 18 Media. I think many a times we try to establish some kind of a heroism through A or B or C. I think today we have the real hero with us. An outstanding green activist, and many more awards to his credit. He has also been invited for talk at global corporations like Google, Intel, and BlackRock. Now I think you can add G20 Summit also. He is the chairman of committee of CBSE and AICT for solar curriculum development and member of National Focus Group on Environmental Education. Professor Solanki has written 8 books and published over 100 research papers internationally. He has 4 US patents to his credit. And during 2019, Professor Solanki traveled across the world, covering 30 countries, not 13, it is 30 countries, to spread the message of solar energy. In his ongoing Energy Swaraj Yatra, he has already traveled more than 34,000 kilometers, reaching about 130,000 people across 17 Indian states. The 11 years Yatra is expected to cover travel across the country 4 to 5 times. The Yatra aims to bring energy literacy to over 100 crore and encourage over 1 crore families to switch 100% on solar energy. Just 2 minutes back, he showed one dashboard wherein CSR is not having a good number. Even though I have written to few of you, I think the number of organizations registered for solar literacy is very minimum. And number of candidates registered is also minimum. Again, number of candidates completed the course is very negligible. So friends, please take it as a great message, and you should really consider this message with a lot more importance and priority. Please make it possible from today onwards, start registering and start completing this literacy program. Professor Solanki has described in his book Energy Swaraj, My Experiments with Solar Truth, that adoption of Energy Swaraj or energy independence should become a public movement. When one individual is really interested to create impact in the country through this public movement, I think we from CSIR, organizations like CSIR, we should only support, extend our support to that individual, by means of which through our support, we are also expressing our interest, and also if at all we are not doing great justice, at least we can follow whatever he is asking us to follow. His Energy Swaraj Yatra is showing the seeds for this movement so that we all can create a better and beautiful world. I wish to end my this small introduction by saying one more time that we are having only one world, And right at this point, we are having only one Solanki. I think let us listen to one Solanki to have better one word. Thank you so much. Looking forward. Floor is open.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalai Salvi. It is indeed a pleasure to be here, the headquarters of CSIR. And as you rightly said, I have been to various CSIR labs as part of my yatra. So it's just like a family, and it gives great pleasure to be here in the headquarters today and to be able to address all of you. As you said, this is the only planet, and I keep saying we are not. You said there is Mars, probably there is no life, but I say another thing: we are not as rich as Elon Musk that we can all escape. You know, we are all poor people, and better make sure that this planet we live, and there's no way to escape. So let's make and do everything possible first to understand and then act. So awareness and action for climate correction. And these are the kind of the key words. So let me start my talk. What I'm going, yeah.
I think out of my excitation, I did not even give him a bouquet. Mahesh, I'll take it. I think this is the impact of your visit.
Thank you.
So on behalf of CSAR, I extend a very, very warm welcome. Mahesh Jha.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the climate change and corrective actions, and I'll try to be as fundamental as possible so that it gives a kind of tools that we can apply in every part of our life and apply this. Before I do that, I would like to show this my home. It's my Yatra bus, and I left my home for 11 years, and I keep asking, you know, there can only be two reasons why would somebody leave home for 11 years. One is that person has gone crazy, and professors can go actually crazy. Screw ढीला हो गया दिमाग का इसलिए घर छोड़ दिया. Or there is a genuine reason. Many people have told me that I don't look crazy, which means that there is a genuine reason to do that. This is not a normal bus. There is a bed inside, there's a kitchen inside, there's a washroom inside, there's a library inside, there's office inside, there's a temple inside, there is a small garden inside also, and there are solar panels on the top. So that is powering and generating enough electricity to fulfill all the needs. Many people have seen probably this bus, and it has become kind of icon. Wherever I go, people recognize the bus and they figure out that I'm here in this city. All the people in the CSR lab, I wish that I'll visit all the labs during this yatra, and you're most welcome to visit my home. Let me start saying with this statement by Plato. He has written the book The Republic, and in that book he has written that every king should be a philosopher, or only philosopher should become a king. You know why? Because kings used to be very powerful. They could change the direction of life of people in their kingdom. And if they're not philosophical, they could be dangerous. So power without philosophy is a dangerous thing. Humans, modern humans are also become very powerful because we have developed so much of science and technology. You know, we can go to the moon, we can send our mission to the Mars, and we can fly big machines, we can make big buildings. So humans are also powerful. But the unfortunate part is we have lost the touch of philosophy. Why do I say that? Because, you know, we all want, and every country wants, the GDP of the country should grow. But I keep asking, how much GDP should grow? Tell me. And nobody knows how much to grow. Whether 5% is good for the country, or 7%, or 9, or 10, or 15, or 20, nobody knows. You know, even if I throw this question to Prime Minister and ask Prime Minister, tell how much GDP should grow, I don't think anybody has answered. You know, more the better is the only thing that we know. How long should, GDP should grow? Is it good for the country if I grow another 10 years, or 20 years, or 30, or 40, 50? How many years? No, nobody knows. Longer the better. The only thing that we know. So it's the current situation is like a driving a vehicle without knowing how much to, you know, how fast to grow and how to stop. Not knowing how much to grow and how long to grow is a disaster. And if anybody drives a vehicle without any brakes, he or she is going to meet an accident. And it looks like the modern humans. Either we already met an accident, or soon we are going to meet an accident. So with this, I would like you to take away the 6 points from this talk, and the very simple points. And if you can take this 6 points, I believe the purpose of my yatra is served. Number one, when we say climate change means what has changed. Second, why it has changed, who has changed it, when to start correcting it, how to correct it, and what an individual can do. I think these are 6 simple points, and any individual, whether scientist or no scientist, doesn't matter, should take away the 6 points. So let me begin with point number 1. What has changed? Our planet Earth used to be really beautiful. I'm saying used to be, not same anymore. It's difficult to find pictures like this in the real life, right? So when we say climate change means what? Well, climate change normally refers to the change of weather system. And the proof that weather system has changed is given by this statistics that I'm showing you here, that the floods used to be there, our extreme floods used to be there 1,000 years back, 500 years back. What has changed is the frequency of these floods. Look at this two data, 1970 to 79, there were 313 extreme floods, which has now increased to 1,393. 5 times more extreme floods are taking place. Where they are taking place? Everywhere in the world. Assam, then Bangalore, Pakistan, Australia, China, Japan, Western Europe, everywhere on the planet. Even Saudi Arabia, which is a desert country, if you Google search Saudi Arabia, you'll find floods in Saudi Arabia. So that's what is happening. So it's everywhere floods are taking place. Forest fires, I'm sure many people are aware about the Amazon forest fires, but the Australian forest fire, California, Greece, Italy, Turkey, Russia, recently UK, couple of months back. Again, the extreme forest fire events have gone from 28 to 127, 500% increase in the last 4 decades. Ice is melting and the North Pole and South Pole, and this kind of images are very common in our life, and we see in the newspaper every now and then. So ice is melting at a very high rate. Where the ice water is going? Of course, it is going into the ocean. And when I went to this place in Odisha and as part of my yatra, I was really shocked. Some people told me you have to be there. When I went there, there used to be villages called Sad Bhaya village. There used to be 7 villages on this coast. Used to be not there anymore. Where they have gone? Submerged under the water. Why? This seashore that you see here used to be 2.5 kilometers from this place. Now the seawater has increased, and you see the temple of the village is under the water. You can see the hand pump is under the sand now. So sea level is rising so much that it is actually many people, many places are getting submerged. It's a reality happening in our life, right in front of our eyes. The rate of sea level rise is 3.4 millimeter per year. 3.4 is this much. I mean, sea is not a small body. It's a huge body of water. In Hindi, we used to say Ananta Samudra, right? Even that is increasing. You can imagine what is happening on this planet. So point number 1 is very clear. Climate change means change of erratic weather system with higher intensity and higher frequency. Great. Very simple point. Everybody should take a note. Let me come to the point number 2. Why it has changed? And I keep asking people, why do you think the climate has changed? Well, there is only one answer, that it is because we use energy. And energy is very important in our life. Everything is driven by energy. The social parameters of growth, the economic parameters of growth is driven by energy. And this chart makes it very clear. This is the chart of SDGs. There are 17 sustainable development goals. In the center of each of this is energy. So whether it is about poverty, hunger, health, education, gender, sanitation, economic growth, climate change, even global peace and partnership has something to do with energy. What is happening in Ukraine has something to do with energy. What happened in Iraq has something to do with energy. So energy is a prevailing factor in our life, and that's why I say energy is everything and everything is energy. This is one single cause for all the problems I can track. I mean, even the violence in the world is because of use of energy or excessive availability of energy. So we need to use energy because it is how we live. But the problem is the game of energy has gone terribly wrong. And why I'm saying this? Because of this graph. This is the history of humans, modern humans, I would say, of the last 220 years, 30 years. It says how we have increased our energy consumption. So we started to industrialize ourselves in 1850. The first time we started using carbon-based source like coal. Before 1850, everything was renewable. It's either biomass or wind or hydro. Then we started using coal in 1850. We started using oil in 1900. We started using gas by 1950. But look at beyond 1950, how fast it is increasing. Today in 2023, we are using, biomass and coal, oil, gas, solar, wind, nuclear, hydro, all kind of sources. But look at the 3 graphs. the pink, the blue, and gray, put together, they contribute to about 80 to 85% of energy. So what's the problem if 85% energy comes from coal, oil, gas? Well, there's a lots of problem. Number one problem is that India is an energy poor country. We don't have it. Prime Minister in his independence speech in 2020 and said India spends 12 lakh crore rupees, which is equal to 50% of our foreign exchange. Whatever money that we earn in dollars, 50%, half of it is spent in importing energy. So that's one big problem. And if you run short of foreign exchange, you know what happens? What happened to Sri Lanka? What happened to Pakistan? That can happen to any other country, to our country as well. Well, that's one problem. But bigger problem is all these three sources, coal, oil, and gas, is made out of carbon. Coal is carbon, petrol, diesel, LPG, CNG, all is carbon. And we are all using carbon. What we do, whenever we use carbon, it results in carbon dioxide and energy. We use energy and we emit carbon dioxide. When we are doing this every time, when we cook our food and eat, we are emitting carbon dioxide. When we brush our teeth, we are emitting carbon dioxide. When I'm using this table, we are emitting carbon dioxide. When I'm using this floor, it has resulted in energy consumption. When lights are on, energy consumption. So every act of ours, directly or indirectly, we emit carbon dioxide. And I keep asking people, where do we emit carbon dioxide? They all say in the atmosphere. We all emit carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as if it is our father's property. Nobody has ever told us you can't do that because atmosphere is finite. You can't emit any amount of carbon dioxide that wish to, but unfortunately neither parents, not professors, not teachers, not policymakers ever told us we cannot continuously emit carbon dioxide. And because we do that, look what is happening. The level of carbon dioxide was constant for thousands and thousands of years. This graph is for 1000 years. Y-axis is the level of carbon dioxide concentration in terms of ppm, parts per million. So CO2 level was 280 parts per million for how many? Thousands of years. But came 1850 when we started throwing carbon. Look where it is growing, how exponential it is growing. Right now, as I'm talking to you, there is 50% extra carbon dioxide sitting in the atmosphere. 50. Now anything that changes by 50% is a great change. Your and my height increases by 50%, that's a great change. 50% of the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide has changed. How big it is, And the problem is this carbon dioxide once emitted, and I keep asking, what this carbon dioxide is doing in this atmosphere, is it all going to stare all the human beings, what human beings are doing, niche बैठ के क्या कर रहे? No, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. It is having a greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? Trapping of the heat. So it is trapping the heat. How much? 50% extra heat because there is a 50% extra concentration. Second problem is once emitted, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere remains on an average of to 300 years, 300 years, on an average up to 1000 years also. So all the lights that we are enjoying today, all the AC that we are enjoying it today, all the food that we are going to eat today is going to have impact for 300 years. That is what everybody should take a note of it. So what is happening now? This extra carbon dioxide is heating the planet in extra way. As a result of that, look how the heating of the planet started. And last 1960 onwards, you see there is a yellow line, linear trend. But beyond, look at the last 10 years. So you see that it is crossing the trend. So it is not linearly increasing, it is actually going above. And that's why we have felt that the 10 hottest years on this planet happened in the last 15 years. Because last 7-8 years have been really crazy. And this year is already announced to be, even hotter. So climate change is not just increasing, it is accelerating. That is what we need to realize. Right now, the planet's temperature is increased by 1.19 degrees centigrade, which is equal to 2.14 degree Fahrenheit. And I keep asking, is that a small change in temperature or a big change in temperature? 2.14 degrees is a huge change. You know why? Because our body temperature is 90 degree Fahrenheit. Suppose body temperature increases by 2 degree, it becomes 100 degree, and what we say? Body has got the fever. Planet's temperature is increased by 2 degree Fahrenheit. Can we say that planet has got the fever? And if we say yes, planet has got the fever, then we say, oh my God, planet has got the fever. Who has caused this fever to the planet? 2.14 degrees centigrade, and when we get a fever, what we do? We take paracetamol, Dolo 650, everybody's favorite. Can we give a Dolo 650 to planet? We cannot. We can't do anything. And when you get a fever, you lose balance, you can't eat properly, you can't sleep properly, you can't work properly. Similar to that, planet has got a fever, planet cannot behave properly. As a result of that, there are floods, there are heat waves, there are cold waves, there are droughts, there are forest fires, there are sea level rising, all kind of erratic things are happening. So planet has got the fever that we have to understand. So point number 2 was why it has changed, because of one factor, use of energy, carbon-based energy resulting in carbon dioxide. That is the point that has to be taken. Point number 3, very interesting. Who has changed the climate? I keep asking in all my, who has changed it? Invariably, 99% people say humans have done it. I have not done it. Humans have done it. Then I have to make them realize, hello, you are the human. Then they correct themselves. They say we have done it. And I say no, that is also not correct, because whenever we say we, it's nobody's problem. Yeah. But every user, everybody is consuming energy. So it's better and correct to say that I am the one who is causing the climate change. So we contribute to the climate change directly because we eat and you take energy directly because of the food, travel, electricity, and indirectly because of the clothes, building, road, material. So who has caused the climate change? I think the best thing is to say I am that person, not the government, not the industry, because invariably people keep blaming industry and government and all. No, every individual, rich or poor, doesn't matter. American or African doesn't matter. From developed countries or developing countries doesn't matter. Everybody is contributing. And in India, we have this Panchatantra story, and it says, one of the stories says, once upon a time, there was a person who was sitting on a branch of a tree and cutting the same branch. Now, what do you call such a person? Stupid, fool. When I see this happening, one side GDP of the country is growing, but the other side nature is degrading. And what is this nature? It is the nature that nurtures your life. Air, water, and soil. You cannot live without this element on this planet. It's impossible. That is the base of our life. Can we, the modern humans, anywhere on the planet, guarantee today that the air that you are breathing is clean, the water that you are drinking is clean, and the food that you are eating is without any chemicals? Nobody can guarantee. The most fundamental basic of living on this planet. So one side GDP is increasing, nature is degrading. The question that comes in my mind is this a modernity or stupidity? How can you pollute the same air that you are only breathing? How can you pollute the same soil from you are only going to eat the food? So it's a modernity or stupidity, and many people say it's stupidity. And the next question is, who is stupid? And I, right? That's the whole purpose of my yatra, is that I am that stupid, who is actually doing and creating problem for myself in search of something which is I'm not able to achieve. So this is very important to understand, and that every individual is responsible. That brings me to point number 4, when to correct it. So one was the climate change means erratic weather system. It is caused because of the carbon dioxide emission. Who is responsible? I am responsible. Point number 4, when to correct it? And obvious answer is now. It's already late. Climate scientist tells us that we need to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade ideally, if not maximum 2 degrees centigrade. And there is a global warming of 1.5 degrees centigrade. It's a very powerful report from IPCC. Very clearly articulates everything. We should limit. Why should we limit to 1.5 degrees centigrade? What is going to happen at 1.5 degree? Will there be a sudden disaster and everybody will die? Answer is no. You're not going to die so easily. I keep saying, don't worry. Chinta mat karo, itni aasan maut nahi milne wali. You are not going to die so easily. Nature is not going to kill us so easily. You know why? Because at 1.5 degrees centigrade, the change in the climate will start to become irreversible. And by 2 degrees, it will be completely reversible. What does it mean? That beyond 2 degrees centigrade of global warming, if all the humans on the planet decides to become a saint and do nothing on this planet and decides कि आज के बाद सिर्फ लंगोट पहन के काम चलाएंगे, still you will not be able to correct it. It's a irreversible process. So it is now or never. And when it become irreversible means more floods, more droughts, more heat waves, more cold waves, more increase in sea level, more ice melting, more forest fires, more reduction in food production yield, more diseases, all will become part of life, and we are all going to pay for it. So that's why it is now or never kind of situations. We have to take corrective actions right now. And I keep asking, do you want to correct it? People say yes. The second problem is we don't have time to correct it. Why? Because how much time is left depends on what is the carbon budget. The carbon budget is derived from a very, there is a cumulative cumulative carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere has a linear correlationship with amount of increase in the global temperature. So from that linear correlation, you can derive this. 280 billion tons is what is left for 1.5 degrees centigrade of global warming and 1030 billion tons for 2 degrees centigrade. Looks like a very big number, 280 billion tons of carbon dioxide. But when we look at the rate of emission, read this number, rate of carbon emission, how much? 14 lakh kilogram of carbon dioxide is emitted in how much time? Just 1 second. And how much is 1 second? Like this, 1 second goes like this. So 14 lakh kilogram, 14 lakh kilogram, 14 lakh kilogram. This is the rate which you're emitting. And when we realize, oh my God, I mean, and that's why I say many people feel that the plantation will save the planet. No, it will not. Plants, poor people cannot, poor fellows cannot grow 14 lakh, cannot absorb 14 lakh kilogram every single second. So when we divide the first number by the second number, you get the time left before we touch 1.5 degree. And this is what is called climate clock. As per the clock, this screenshot I have taken on 21st Jan. As per this clock, the time left at that time was 6 years and 182 days. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I can actually show the real climate clock. And as per this climate clock, I think the time left is some 6 years and 120 days only. So 6 years, 6 years, 116 days, 5 hours, 57 minutes and 41 seconds. That's the only time left. So time is really running out. If at all you want to do something, do it fast. Before it actually goes to the irreversible kind of situation. So I hope it is clear. It has to be done now. And the point number 5 is how to correct it. Even more important. And I believe that very few people understand how to correct it. And very few means less than 1% people understand how to correct it. Why I'm saying that? Because from last 30 to 40 years, a lot of things are happening on the planet for climate change. Way back, we remember Kyoto Protocol signed in 1998. Then 2015 Paris Agreement, very powerful agreement signed by 190 plus countries. What was the agreement? By 2030, we are all going to cut down our carbon emission by 45%. And I was so happy. Wow, now 2016 we'll see reduction in carbon emission, 17 further emission reduction, 18 further reduction. No, what is the reality? Every single year carbon emissions are increasing with 1.7% rate. So none of these COP meetings every single year, 27 meetings have already gone, and we are now preparing for 28th meeting. What we discuss every year, how to solve the problem of climate change. Very few people understand how to solve it. And I would like to offer my 2 cent knowledge and how to solve the problem of climate change. And why do we do this? As we discussed, there's no planet B. You can't escape, and you are not rich like Elon Musk that you can escape and go somewhere else. You are going to be here and suffer. So let's do whatever it takes. How to correct it? Well, IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, one of the most credible body, in their report in 2018, it says changes in energy use pattern is required. Why? Because it is energy that is created problem. If somebody gets a cancer, you can't treat cancer by taking paracetamol. You have to treat the cancer by treating the root cause of cancer, remove the cancerous cells from your body. If climate change is caused, you cannot treat it by just plantation or making the whole world plastic free. You have to go to the root cause, and the root cause is carbon-based fuel and energy consumption. So you have to change energy use pattern. Fine. How to change? 2 qualifying conditions: drastically and immediately. Now, how many people and organizations and countries and state are making drastic and immediate changes? Nobody is doing it. In fact, it is other way. And that's why we are not able to solve the problem. It is rather increasing. So until unless we make a drastic change, until unless we make an immediate change, it is not going to work. And it has not worked in last 3-4 decades. So let us be very clear that drastic and immediate change is required. Can we really solve this problem? We are all living a life full of contradiction. One side, everybody wants a growth, and great, growth has to be there, but growth means more energy. 85% energy comes from carbon, which is going to result in carbon dioxide emission, which is going to cause climate change. So what do we want, growth or climate change? Growth means increase in energy supply, climate change means decrease in energy supply. Look at the contradictory situation. And I observe one more contradiction. When I travel across, I am finding all those people who are busy consume more energy. Normally, the relationship, more busy people consume more energy, and they contribute more to the climate change. And the fact that they are busy also means they're educated and they understand that there's a climate change, but they can't do anything for solving the problem of climate change. You know why? Because they're busy. See the contradiction. So I believe that if anybody who can solve this problem of ensuring the growth without affecting the climate change, ensuring the growth without affecting the climate change, we should get not 1 or 2 Nobel Prizes, should get 8 to 10 Nobel Prizes. Because this problem is not a normal problem. It is now a problem of survivability of human life. And I hope that there are scientists in every CSR labs who aspire to get a Nobel Prize. If at all you want to do that, do this, solve this problem, ensure that there's a growth without affecting the climate change, and not 1 to 10 Nobel Prizes are guaranteed to you. It's a big solution.